Last month, I recommended the pizza storage container for our innovative product of the month. Since then, this product has skyrocketed. This product still has very low competition, a niche score of an 8 out of 10, and over 3,000 monthly searches. Better yet, it's starting to gain the attention of others. Today I'll be introducing a new product type, which is the Recession-Proof Product, and that is something we'll be taking a look at later in this video. Now that product that we'll take a look at has the same amount of potential as these pizza storage containers, and I expect the demand to really increase over the next couple of months. Now before we get into that though, let's go ahead to the computer, check out some data for October's innovative product. So October's innovative niche product is going to be the cup holder tray for car. This product is in the automotive niche, as you would suspect. So whenever you're finding a product on Alibaba, which we'll do here in a couple of minutes, just make sure you're finding a product that can fit in a universally sized cup holder for the country that you're selling in. Some things that I really like are the average monthly unit price is a little bit over $26, so we should have a decent 40% or 45% margin with this type of product. Monthly search volume is very high at 4,469 average searches per month, and the search trend also supports that demand increase that we're seeing below in the average units sold. The last thing that I want to point out in the data is just the average unit sold history for the past 2 years. So if you look down below, we can see that the average unit sold history was fairly consistent, and we did have some spikes in November and December of each year. So as you can see in 2020, November, December, we saw some large spikes relatively speaking, and same thing with November and December of last year. Now we are already seeing higher levels in 2022 in demand for this product and more units sold each month. So if you begin selling this product near the end of October to early November, that really sets you up best to get that early level of demand. That way you can obtain those reviews and begin profiting at a very, very early stage in your product launch. Okay, let's scroll through Amazon so you can gain an idea of what this product actually looks like. As we can see from these top sellers that are sponsored right here, a lot of the designs are very, very similar, right? There's very little design change that you can really make, so I understand that. But when I'm looking at this, the first thing that comes to my mind on how to actually really stand out from all this competition is just to change the color of the design. Everything on here is black, other than this green one here, but I don't know if that'd work. But as you can see, every single design is black. Something you can do very easily is just change it to a gray, and that will allow you to stand out so you catch the customer's eyes as they're scrolling down through the page. During my time searching for a product on Alibaba, I didn't come across one that was a different color than black, so that's probably why you're only seeing that one color variation on Amazon. What I would still go ahead and do, say you go with a supplier and it says they only have black, I would ask them, is it possible to come up with a different color? That for large manufacturers, and especially verified manufacturers that have been doing this for 14 years, they typically have that capability of changing it. It may cost you a little bit more, but I think it would be worth it in this scenario. All in all, with this product that I just found quickly on Alibaba, we're looking at $3.49 up to 500 units, and shipping should be around 50 cents to 75 cents for a product of this weight and size. So at a sales price of $26.99, we'd be looking at a profit margin close to 40%. Now this is for January to September, and why does that matter? So that matters because your storage costs are actually going to increase about 2.7 to 3 times more in October to December, or the fourth quarter of every year. So in this revenue calculator, you want to make sure to select October to December. And as you can see, we're looking at $43 for 200 units. If you change that to October, it's going to increase up to $125 approximately. So it's really a large jump. Make sure you factor that into this if you're going to begin selling this in the fourth quarter of this year. All in all though, if you were to sell these 200 units of that product, you'd be looking at a little over $2,000 in net profit. On to our next product of the month, which is our niche product. And this is a product that's going to have very little competition, which will allow you to easily enter the market. This month's product is going to take you back 30 years to the 90s style of fashion, and that is the niche of parachute pants women. So we're bringing back the 90s fashion. I honestly never thought that I'd see this day, but as I'm sure that you're aware, every 20 to 30 years, we typically see the same fashion cycles with a slight variation. So this doesn't surprise me. Now, typically on this channel, I never really focus on clothing, shoes, and jewelry, that category, but I thought that this was very interesting given the search volume trend that we're about to take a look at. So the niche is parachute pants women. Some things right off the bat that I like. Obviously, the search trend, 121% for the 30-day and 76% for the 90-day. Very low competition and a niche score of an 8 out of 10. So right there, if you're seeing those 4 metrics at elevated levels as we see, that's going to tell you that this is a good opportunity, but we also want to check the search volume trend, even though we're seeing some increases in those trends. Once we move down here to the trend for the past 24 months, and what is very typical with new trends, especially in clothing, we're not going to see a very high search volume trend previously before this point in time, because as these things come and go, people begin to search very quickly, very rapidly, and that's what increases the search volume and overall demand. So I'm not surprised to see that up until, I'd say, the summer of this year, that's when we began to see that increase in interest for these type of pants. I would say starting in May of this year, that's when we began to see that increase in demand, and we are currently sitting at the peak of the demand for the past 24 months. It's a great time to begin selling these for months to come. All right, checking out the Amazon first listing page. What I like is that these are all sponsored listings, and they have very low reviews. There's only 8 here, 16, 1 here. This one doesn't even have any. So if we scroll down, we can see that there are some that do not have any reviews, but are still popping up on the first listing page. Now, this is a really any Amazon seller dream, is to be able to just list a product, to pop up on that first listing page and gain organic sales right off the start. So let's scroll down here. I see that the color white and looks like these brown ones are very popular right now. Just taking a look at these pair of white, these are the most basic ones on here on Amazon. This seller they're selling them for $36.99. They have about 77 reviews, and their monthly revenue is $65,000. So they're selling just shy of 60 daily sales, but overall that is very, very high revenue. Now, I went on Alibaba and I tried to find the identical parachute pants, and honestly, within a minute, I was able to find a couple of sellers selling these identical white pants. These do come in different sizes and different styles as well as colors. Here's some pink ones here. But I think if you went ahead and sold the white one or a color that's not commonly sold, you'd have a lot of success in that. This product is going for $9.90. That is for the small. I'm not sure if that's also for the large and the medium sizes, but that definitely is for the small. So $9.90 and about 50 cents for overall shipping per unit. And selling these at $35.99, I would expect about a 33% profit margin. Now, if you purchase 200 of these, that would produce just shy of $2,400 in net profit. And as we can see from that demand, that one existing listing is already selling 60 per day. So to sell 200 units should not be that difficult, especially when you're ranking on the top listing page when you first get started. One last thing, I just wanted to point out this other niche that is very similar and nearly identical to the one that we just took a look at. That is baggy cargo pants for women. Now, it's very similar to parachute pants women. So I'd say this is the same niche, just in a different subcategory. As we can see, a lot of the data is very similar. I'm not going to review every detail, but this is always an assuring sign whenever you find a product and then find other niches that are very similar that are also seeing those similar to identical trends. So this is also another niche that you could place your product in. So one thing that we're doing differently this month and for months to come is that we'll be removing the high demand product that we typically took a look at, and we're going to replace that with the recession-proof product. The reason I am doing this is to provide a product that's more applicable to our current economic environment. During these difficult times, it's best to go ahead and to sell essential products, which is what we're going to be focusing on for this type of product. Customers tend to spend their money on more essential items rather than the nice to haves like toys and games. So for this month of October, the recession-proof product is the Be Active Brace. Now, one thing I want to mention before we get into the data for this product is that Be Active is an existing trademark brand. Now, that means that you should not go ahead and to use the Be Active brand name because you don't have rights or ownership over that. Our goal here for these type of products that we've looked at in the past is to basically be the second or the third top seller and to compete with Be Active. A great way of competing with a larger brand name that's existing, and we're seeing a very strong rise in popularity, is to come in at a lesser price or to provide something that this product is not providing, such as a unique feature. So just keep that in mind as we're progressing through this. Even though the niche is B-active brace, we're really looking for these knee braces or elbow braces that are rising in popularity. Now, there are 4 things on the data set that really caught my attention. One was the average monthly units sold for the previous month was 4,821 units, very high, and that would honestly meet our high demand products that we looked at in months past. The next 2 things, competition very low and a niche score of a 9 out of 10, very high. And then lastly, let's jump down to the average units sold for the past 2 years. As we can see in 2020 and 2021, for the most part, very little demand for this product, but as soon as 2022 hit, people really started to pay attention to this and to begin searching for it. This past month in September 2022, we saw the highest level of average units sold for a single month. So that really tells me that we are trending upward in overall demand, and I would expect during the holiday season that these will become even more popular. Now, hopping over to Alibaba, we can see that a compression sleeve like this that you can customize is about just under $1 per unit, which is fairly cheap. I would go ahead and probably package these into sets of 2, and I'd have 1 to 2 color variations on top of just the neutral color, which would be the black one. So if we were to sell all 3 of these color variations, I think that would be the best way to attack this. And it would also allow you to separate yourself from the B-active brand. And lastly, onto the revenue calculator. If we sold these for $16.99, which is far less than the B-active brace, which was about $29.99, and we sold these in sets of 2, not single unit sets, we'd be looking at a 40% profit margin and just over $1,300 in overall net profit. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. I hope this gives you an idea of a product to begin selling for the month of October. November and December are quickly approaching. Keep in mind that storage costs will go up during this period of time, and also keep in mind that we should be seeing higher levels of demand and to focus on those recession-proof products for the next couple of months.